Hi everyone, it's Kim from the Shamrock Quilt Studio, and I got a new thimble. Shh, don't tell anybody. And welcome back to the Shamrock Quilt Studio. Hi there. Yesterday I went out shopping and I was shopping for a thimble. Now, I've got lots of thimbles, but I'll tell you, none of them really work for me. I've tried the little things you tape on. Here we go. Of those, these are my favorites. They're thimble pads, and you just stick them on and they're a little piece of suede. And I have one place on one finger that I do use a lot for applique stitches and binding and things like that, where I am pressing that needle into the fabric with that one little place. And these do work as long as they're fresh and the adhesive on the back of them is working well. Once that adhesive starts wearing off, they don't stick on the edges and they begin to pull up. And then what happens is the thread gets caught underneath it. And before you know it, it's more of an impediment to sewing than it is a help. But they do have their purpose, and they have been for me very useful in the past. Okay, so everybody that sews, everybody that hand quilts usually wears a thimble, right? So I went out looking. This was the first one that I found. It is an inexpensive metal thimble, and it's kind of a bell shape. And it has some little dimples in it that help to grab a hold of that needle so that you can use it. Like I said, it's very inexpensive. It doesn't fit my finger at all, because what happens? And I've lost it. And I spend time looking for it just to put it on and have it happen over and over again. I spend too much energy keeping that thimble on my finger than I do using that energy to sew and to quilt and to hem and whatever else. So then I said, I need a thimble too that's got something on the top of it that will hold the needle in place when I sew. So I got this one, and it is a metal thimble. It's got ridges on the sides. I'm having a hard time getting it here in the place for it to see. And it's got a little ridge at the top that supports the needle. Let me show you what that looks like. Now this one fits on my finger better, but it's very tight. And because it fits over my nail, and I try to keep my nails short but not too short, just as a personal preference. And that nail on that middle finger is a little wide compared to some of the other fingers. So there's a lot of pressure on the edge of the nail bed with this one. But as far as functional, it works good, and it is very functional for what it does. So I have been using that. I also tried this little thimble that is, I guess you wear it like this. It is a plastic half ring and a piece of leather inside of it that has some dimples in it. I guess that's to grab a hold of the needle. And in the back, the piece of leather, the ends of it are hooked together with a little piece of plastic that has been machined, or not, no, I'm sorry, it's not plastic, it's some kind of thread, and it's been knotted and sewn closed. This works great, and I could see this as a real benefit if it fit to the right place on my finger. If I could get it to fit right up here at the end, it would be great. But in order to do that, I would have to take it apart, put new holes in it, cut it, and then sew it back together, and then it may or may not work. I'm kind of hesitant to do that to something that is in good shape for what it was intended to be. So This brings me to my shopping trip yesterday. I happened to catch some videos on YouTube this past week, probably week and a half, and there was a lady on there who was demonstrating hand quilting, and she had the most beautiful stitches I have ever seen. Those things were so tiny and uniform. And while I can appreciate tiny stitches and the skill and needed to pull off that kind of craft, that's never really been my desire. And part of that was because I have trouble controlling my thumb. So when you're hand quilting and you're rocking that needle and holding you're holding it in place and you're moving the fabric and you're moving the needle, sometimes that's a little difficult for me. But what I've decided to do is to spend the next 4 months trying to hone my hand quilting skills to see if I can use a rocking stitch. I think in the past, a lot of my emphasis was on completing a project and taking the time to learn and practice the skill of rocking stitches was just not an option. I could either do one or I could do the other, but I couldn't do both. Well, what I've decided as a personal goal for me for the next couple of months is to see if I can make it work. So in order to do that, first of all, I've got to find some little small project that I can use as a practice piece. And when I say small, I'm talking like, you know, this size small. Something really tiny that's just, I can sit down and spend 15, 20 minutes just getting the feel of the needle, getting the feel of the thimble, and making it work. So I've been watching these videos. And if you're interested, her name is Esther Miller. And she is, I don't know if she's Amish. They mention the Amish community many times in the video, but I suspect that she's not Amish or there's something there because she is making these videos. She does live in Germany, or did at the time the videos were made, and there is a quilting business associated with her in some manner. Since I'm not in Germany, it's really hard for me to really determine what the situation there is. Her videos were posted 2 years ago, and then there are other things that were posted much earlier than that. So that brings me to yesterday. I kept looking at the thimble she used, and she uses a Roxette Thimble that is, I think hers is sterling silver. And in doing a little research, they make this Roxette Thimble in sterling silver, silver plate, and then they make just a regular gray thimble. And that's what I was able to find yesterday. Let me tell you why I think I'm going to like it and why I think it will work. Here it is. First of all, it doesn't come off. I spent 10 minutes in the store yesterday with 2 different sizes, seeing what would happen if I did this over and over and over again, which one came off and which one didn't. So I decided on the large size, that one's the green one. What's special about this thimble is that the back side, the nail is exposed. So if you have longer nails, or if you have discomfort with some of the other thimbles, this one is better. It's very snug, I'll tell you that. It pinches just a little bit, but I suspect that's because my finger and my nail are not used to that. And you see, I keep doing this. I've been doing this for a day now, making sure it's not going to come off. But there it is. On the side here, it's got little perforations, or not perforations, indentions that will allow the needle to grab hold. And then there is a ridge up here at the top that allows you to use that to press against the needle. Inside, it's all metal. There's no silicone in there. There's no moleskin. It's just the metal. And the metal kind of cinches up. When you push it in, it kind of sticks almost to your finger. And between that and the size of it, it doesn't come off. Now, I was a little concerned. This is, like I said, this is a large. I thought maybe the medium might work because colder weather is coming. And usually in colder weather, I know my fingers are smaller, my wrist is smaller because I think we're not swelling as much because of the heat. We're not as, there's not as much moisture in our skin. So everything kind of decreases in size a little bit. But I figured I'd try the large. If for some reason colder weather gets here and it doesn't want to stay on, at least I know I could order a medium and it would be the next size. Now, this thimble and this thimble at the store, probably really inexpensive. I don't remember at this point how much they were, but I would say it's under 10 bucks. And maybe somewhere in the range of $5 to $6. This thimble, a little bit more. And I will say I had another thimble around here I wanted to show you, but I can't find it right now. It was made similar to this in that there was one side that was on aluminum, and then on the inside it had a piece of silicone that was supposed to make it a comfort thimble, and then it just wrapped around and you adjusted the size in the back. It was comfortable, but it was so big that I could not get it to work. So I think this is maybe the 6th or the 7th type of thimble that I've tried. I am hoping that it's going to be the winner. And if I find that it is, then maybe I would invest in the more expensive silver plate or sterling silver later down the road to have something that may be even more comfortable. But I'm looking for something that makes both. It's efficient, it has value in getting the work done, but it also is comfortable and doesn't come off my finger. It doesn't interfere with the stitching. So I've got a new project for the next couple of months, and I really hope that I'm very successful, even if I can't get to the point of fully transitioning to a rocking stitch with smaller stitches. If I can get to a point where I can incorporate both my style of quilting and the rocking stitch, that would be great too, because I think that that would be less effort on my part in the actual stitching, because now I'm having to go up and down constantly, versus when you're hand stitching, it's mostly one hand underneath and one hand on top, and occasionally you'll come out. So that's my thought anyway. I don't know how accurate that's going to be. And I'm looking to get, she had another tool that she uses on the underside. It's a little porcelain, it looks like a thimble, but with a hat on the end of it. I'm looking to see if that's something that I could get as well, or if there's another tool that I can use. If you have any ideas about that, let me know. And then there was also a third tool that she had that she used on her thumb. And I think the purpose of that was to be able to sew, actually it was this thumb. That was to sew away from you, so you could not rely on your fingers to punch it in, but allow your thumb to push it away from you. I don't think that one's available right now. I'm going to have to check on it. But it's possible that maybe we could make something like this work for that, because it's the same idea. You're using, I wish I had, let's see, we'll just use a pen because it might be The thought process is you use this to push that needle through, and that's your pusher, and that's your needle getting it through. That's an idea. Okay, so what she uses, let me review this. And I don't know that this is going to work for me, but I think I'm going to try. She uses a thimble here to push the thread. And I could use that. We'll have to just kind of play with it and see. On this finger, she uses a needle puller, and it's one of those little plastic gizmos where you put the needle in and then you pull it, and I think you can even do it with one hand. I'm not sure, but you can pull that needle through all of your stitches. She uses this thimble. So that's a lot of tools on that hand, but if you can use the right tools and never have to pick up something and remove it, that's a great benefit. A little efficiency there. So here's a story you didn't think you'd hear on this channel, but you are today, and it's a little, like I said, personal challenge for me to see if I can do it. I'm going to pop in here probably every couple of weeks with a little short video to give you a little idea of what kind of progress I'm making. And that way, if you have toyed with the idea of learning that traditional way of quilting, you can kind of see how my journey's going and if it's something that you think you might want to tackle too. We talked about price a little bit, and this thimble, I don't have the packaging with me. It was $28 in the local store, which I think runs right about what their MSRP on this thimble is. And I could have purchased it a little bit cheaper from the internet, from Amazon, but I wanted to check the fit first. So that's why when I found someone local that had them, and I could go in and check and see how it worked, because this was very valuable yesterday in spending that $27. That's why I went with that. I will tell you right now, it is, like I said, a little snug, and it does want to pinch a little bit on the side of the nail. I've tried to moisturize that a little bit and make sure I don't have any dead skin, and to make sure the nail on that finger is trimmed appropriately. And I think that's really going to be more of a matter of just getting it used to it. So I'm trying to use it a little bit. I did hear something one time that said, if you're going to use a thimble, put it on and just do everything you do with the thimble and get used to it so it's not a foreign object on your hand. So that's what I'm going to try today. It's a little bit more money than a $6 thimble. Anyway, long story there for you today in this video, but I hope it's helpful for you. Just wanted to keep you up to date on what's going on here and the things we're trying. We will have a new video series. I think it will start next Friday in the time slot this one is airing, and it is going to be on a stained glass project. And so we'll have 2 new projects in the works, and then my personal challenge. So we'll see you next time at the Shamrock Quilt Studio. If you like our video, give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. We're trying to raise that subscriber level as quickly as we can so we get more attention from YouTube and they will promote our videos a little bit better. We'll see you next time here at the Shamrock Quilt Studio. Have a great week. Bye.